Ann Burrows, DTM, and she is doing a project number 5 from the Advanced Manual, Speaking to Inform, the abstract concept. And the object of the speech is for the speaker to research and analyze an abstract concept. She is then to present the idea in a clear and interesting manner. The talk should clearly explain the meaning of the subject, use definitions, examples, anecdotes, illustrations, quotes, and visual aids to explain the concept. The time is from 6 to 8 minutes. And the title of her speech today is The Gift of Intuition. Mary Ann Burrows.
Okay, so it's 6, 7, and 8 for the timing. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. We all know we live in a logical, practical, linear world. Everything fits and everything steps on top of each other. We know that if I add 2 and 2, it equals 4. If I drop my pen, it's going to fall to the ground. It's not going to float to the ceiling. And if it's raining outside and I don't wear my coat or bring my umbrella, I am going to get wet. But there are other ways to access information in the world, and one of those ways is through intuition. And in a lot of ways, intuition is the total opposite of logic. Something just pops in your head. There's nothing to base that choice or decision on. You just know. And I would bet that every person in this room has had at least occasional experiences where you just have that nagging feeling. Perhaps you're thinking about somebody that you hadn't talked to for 10 years, and they show up at the store the next day. Or you go to call somebody and you pick up your phone, and it's them on the phone. Or you're getting in the car, getting ready for work, and you just have this sense, I should go back and check. Something's not quite right. And you find a piece of paper that you needed for your boss that day. Now these are kind of fun, playful, but once in a while, intuitions can actually be life-saving. A woman named Tricia wasn't feeling very well, so she went to the doctor. The doctor ran a number of tests and said, "You're fine, go back home." She did, but still kept having this strange sense something was not right. She even began to have some very bizarre dreams that were repetitive. So she just felt, I need to get to the bottom of this. So she called her doctor again and said, what is the deepest part of the body that we have? And he said, well, I guess it's the colon. So she requested that she have a colonoscopy. And while they were researching, they absolutely found a cancerous mass that was very fast growing. And if she had not heeded those intuitional experiences, she probably would have died. I'd like to also share a story and experience that I had. I had a good friend named Ann, and we were spending the day together. We were doing a variety of different activities, and I kept getting this sense that I should ask her if she was pregnant. Now let me explain my rules about that. I never ask anyone if they're pregnant unless they're asking me to drive them to the hospital for delivery. And she didn't look pregnant at all. She was this little tiny itty bitty thing. But as the day moved on, the nudges kept happening. So finally, shortly before I left, I said, Ann, I don't ever do this, but I feel like I have to. Are you pregnant? She looked at me and said, not that I know of. I left shortly after that, and 2 hours later she called me and she said, Mary Ann, you're not going to believe it. After you left, I decided to get a pregnancy test, and sure enough, I am pregnant. Now, just having the story to that point is pretty amazing, but it goes on. Because the very next morning, she was going to go to the chiropractor and have x-rays taken. And most of you know it's very dangerous for a fetus to be exposed to x-rays. So I perhaps saved that little one's life. Steve Jobs traveled around the world, and he became very aware that some cultures basically lead with logic and others with intuition. So he surmised that intuition is something that we can all learn. I like to think of intuition much like driving a car. We all drive cars. You use your hearing and your eyes and your intellect and your previous experiences to maneuver through the world. We all know that there's new cars out there that have extra little sensors. If you pull in another lane and it's too close to another car, the sensor goes off. Or if you're backing up and there's an obstacle behind you, a sensor will go off. So it's not about getting rid of logic. It's about adding those extra bonus of the sensors that help you maneuver through life. So I'm going to share with you 3 ways where you can begin to improve your intuition. And the first one is to become aware of the hits you get. Make them more solid and more real in your world. Begin to get a journal and start writing them down. So it's almost like you're telling the universe, I want more of this. Because intuition's kind of background music, where if there's too much chaos in the world, you're not going to experience that. The second way is to pay attention to your dreams, like Annette did in the story I shared. You want to make sure, especially if you're having repetitive dreams that are very vivid, that you really pay attention to them. There are a lot of good dream interpretation books out in the market, but my very favorite one is a book called The Mystical, Magical, Marvelous World of Dreams by Wilder B. Tanner. And as you can see, there's a rubber band around it because I've been using it for a long time. But oftentimes when we have a dream, we wake up, say for instance you had a dream about somebody dying. You might wake up frantic thinking, oh no, someone's going to die in my life. And actually, death in a dream does not mean someone's going to physically die. It means some aspect is going to die. So perhaps they're going to move on to a different job and no longer be in that job. So it's helpful to get some input with symbols in dreams. And the third way is to spend time in either contemplation, silence, and really regroup forces. You can think about our world as a tornado that riles us up all day long. And when we can center ourselves in the eye of the tornado, that helps us to chill out and be more in tune with our intuitive aspects of life. I'd like to close with a quote from Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein says, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. My gift to you is to continue working on your gifts. Good.